So when I was in high school, we had a policy with our school. The policy was all fruits in our school were sacred. That means that you don't touch sacred things the way you want, isn't it? So you could not pick in fruits, you cannot carry them, that including pepper. It is a fruit, isn't it? So we cannot get them. But then I am a very genius, very innovative. Now that the speaker, I will refer to the conversation that already have happened. So the speaker spoke about innovation. He was very innovative. He told me, we had a very big banana plantation. He told me, while people were in class this afternoon, I decided then to get a detour in the plantation, and I discovered a number of the bunches are just about to be ripe. And now you have two boxes. I had two boxes. I would like your assistance with one box, because I have reserved one bunch there, and tonight I'm going to get it and store it in the box so that when it ripens, I can be able to eat slowly by slowly. Now, there are two options. Everybody in high school, you will discover how hungry you get. Ama ni mimi peke yangu nilikuwa nasikia njaa. Like, especially when you're in Form 2. I don't know where the hunger comes from, but you just want the bell for lunch and supper to ring, isn't it? So it was a good opportunity, because now you'll be having something extra. You'll be having something to eat after maybe after the preps in the evening under your blanket. Everybody just feeling sweetness smelling around, but they don't know where from. And so, but then you discover that when the principal catches you, you go home and bring everybody a banana. Our school had 2,000 students. And now I could not imagine my mother coming with me with a whole lorry of bananas. So there are two options. All of them are good options, nevertheless. I mean, it's good to feed people, the vulnerable and the poor. Yes. So I had to make a choice. I told him that I will not assist him, not because I don't like him, I don't respect him, but because I first respect what? The law, isn't it? And also I feared that my mother might kill me when I go home. So it's very important. So what is integrity to you? What do you mean with integrity? Do you have another mic? Can you run the mic around? Anybody? Someone? Yes. We can start with that young man from Kisii. What is integrity to you?
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is on watch.
Even when no one is watching.
Is on,
Yes?
it's not
You have a mic.
doing the right thing when no is not is even when doing the right thing when no one is on watch. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Any other person? There's a beautiful lady here in the front who wishes to include her thoughts in the conversation. The rest of you, what's happening?
Okay, my
Don't
name
shy. The camera is on. You can stand up.
my name is Angela Chepkemoi, Kisii University. According to me, integrity is the quality of being honest, having strong moral principles, and sticking to one on values even when no one is watching.
So how many believe that we have integrity? Their integrity is at par as of this moment. Anyone? Someone? Unajua ukiinua hivi najua tu hata wewe unajua ndani ya roho. What you do? Anyone? Na ubiangi mtihani, si ndio? Hujaiandika mwa Kenya? Pale HPU mkifanya communication skills. Oh my Lord. How many? Only him? Unajua ukinidanganya ni vizuri. Lakini kudanganya Mungu unajua ni vibaya. Thank you. I mean, it's one of our values at AYLF. You remember? AYLF, we have 4 values that we work with. Isn't it? The core values are? The core values of AYLF is? Love, integrity, friendship, and excellence. Now, very amazing thing. So integrity is very core. into the work we do, because we speak about leadership daily, and we want to make sure that you are a leader that is accountable, transparent, as she says, who can do things that are clear and clean without anybody watching. Yesterday morning, I hosted a breakfast of stakeholders, and we were speaking about corruption. We were asking, are you corrupt? The question we're asking, it's from a research, is, are you corrupt? What answer do you think comes out of your heart? Are you corrupt? Hata wenye wanakulanga fair, are you corrupt? It is simple to say no. It's simple to say that you are not. In the survey that the conversation we were discussing yesterday, people say that around 57% of the people say that they are not corrupt. But they said, again, those same 57 people said that they know somebody who is corrupt. So I was asking the guys, now if 57% of the population says it's not corrupt, because I was to say 57 see corrupt. So how many corrupt people do we have? 43, isn't it? Is it 43? Yes. Then the 57 waseme, mimi najuanga mtu corrupt. Sasa unaona kuna ka deficit kako mahali. Kuna deficit ya watu wametudanganya mahali. Ama wanajua tu wale 43 peke yao. What I'm saying is, it is easy to see a corrupt person than to see yourself corrupt. Yeah? You prefer other person corrupt because you feel that they are taking advantage of your situation. Kwa nini wananunua mashine ya chapati Nairobi peke yake? Ajui hata sisi huku tunataka chapati, si ndio? Si ndio? You feel that the corruption is on one side. Now, in 1982, while you guys were yet not born, not thought about, the then Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, the Honorable Mwai Kibaki, walked into Parliament with a proposal. And the proposal was that Kenya should be a one-party state. You read that one in school, didn't you? Yeah? The section 2A. The very Honorable Gentleman Mwai Kibaki introduced this one in Parliament. And they quickly discussed that motion and passed that Kenya should be a one-party state. Now, what happened after that? The 10 years of terror. People will be picked from your house, unaenda pale Nyayo house, and you come to tell us the stories, isn't it? A very amazing stories. Have you read them? Anybody else read those stories? They are horrific, terrifying, deadly. But a gentleman did that. Then after maybe 3 years, he discovered, kwani nilifanya nini? Because they did not interrogate the decision they were doing. It costed life. It did cost people, minds, and a lot of things that happened after that. Until 1992, when that repeal, 91, later of 91, when the repeal was done by the president himself. So the Kenyan situation on integrity is not new to anyone. You, yourself in your village, when, I don't know, those who come from where people have food, you don't have problem. But those who come from arid areas, yes, we have relief food. Remember your chief, when he was told by the government of Kenya to divide that food, he decided to take a whole gunia for himself, and give your family 2 kgs, gorogorombiri. And all of you are complaining, your chief anakuanga very corrupt. Then baba yako akakuwa nini? Headman. Akaambua gawe. Alifanya nini? Alifanya nini? So we are not new to the corruption case. We are not new to the situation in our republic. It has been happening. We ourselves have also contributed to the problem. And I can state a number of issues here, stated and done. We remember 2007, post-election violence. How many remember that? How many were born? All of you? Oh, guy. And the post-election violence did not happen just like that. It happened because it was perpetrated by a number of people. Did they have integrity? Did they care about other people? Did they have the concern? When the president was sworn in the middle of, okay, it was not in the middle, it was 6 p.m., but in the night, because we have to exaggerate so that they look like it was really bad. So when the president was sworn in the middle of the night, Did he care about the people who were being murdered in the rift? Did he care about that? Was there a situation? Was there something that he could have done to change the situation? Was there something he could have done? And you see, we put ourselves in a very intricate position. And you say, there was nothing we could do. My hands were tied. What's a good English? So, when we speak about integrity in leadership, what do we mean? Because we have spoken this conversation for too long now. For quite a long time as a country. We started with the introduction of policies that looked like they would save us. When the Honorable President Jomo Kenyatta was president, he felt there was a necessity of a very good institution, the intelligence institution, called the special branch. And introduced this institution so that it can make sure the processes were running clear. It turned out to become a problem to our republic. Cindy, in 1974, 1972, we had a crisis where our elephants were being killed daily. Tons and tons of tusks and horns were being transported out of the country by people who are in government. People we entrusted them with a chance of leadership. But that is not the big deal. The big deal is not whatever has been done. Last week, the Parliament of Kenya reduced the health budget with 73 billion shillings. And they went ahead to hand 7 billion shillings to their budget at the Parliamentary Service Commission. They did that not caring about the questions we have about SHA, or is it Shafashi? They don't care about that. But they continued to reduce that when we don't have facilities on dialysis. KEMSA is not functioning and it needs to get drugs to send them to counties. Bills have not been paid to missionary hospitals and church-based hospitals that help mitigate the problem of inadequate beds in public hospitals. I mean, I will state many of our reasons of whatever has not happened, or the history of the problem. Because the history of the problem is part of what you are, you as a Kenyan. But then when we as Kenyans, we do a very amazing thing. We think. Kenyans think. Kenyans come up with ideas. Last week we hosted the People Dialogue Festival at Nairobi, at Uhuru Park. And the People Dialogue Festival is a funded program that runs to enable Kenyans, any Kenyans, to be able to walk in and have conversation about governance and democracy. And one of the sessions at the Political Dialogue Village was when the very honorable governor of Bungoma was seated there. You know the governor of Bungoma? You guys know the governor of Bungoma? Who is the governor of Bungoma? Yes, sir? Yes. You all remember Kennedy Lusaka is a second-time governor, right? After he had a season of a break where he sat at the Senate as the speaker. You remember that? But during his first term, there was a very sensational story about him. You remember that sensational story? What did he do? Yes, the gentleman by there with a cape like that one of Papa Odinga.
Yes, he bought a wheelbarrow worth 110,000.
Yes, so exactly, he is correct. So a gentleman stood up and asked him, Mr. Governor, explain to us how a wheelbarrow that cost 3,000 in a normal day at our hardware was bought at 100 and of costs. I'm telling you, I mean, I think the AOLF media team recorded that. The gentleman said that the wheelbarrow was built with a very specific, out of this world material because it was used for food. I mean, he's correct. Maybe that whatever is in the document, right? Yeah, he's the one who saw the document. Personally, I have not seen the document. I cannot judge him. But really? And I can continue to give you examples close to your home, close to your village. A number of years ago, we had a dam that broke and swept people. You remember the dam in Karai? Or it is at Karai, or it is in Karai? Eh? Solai. You remember that dam? Funny enough, just recently, last year, is it last year when people there was a mudslide because of the railway gauge holding water? You remember that? And people lost lives? Inaction. There was inaction. While you can be transparent, also you can be inaction. You're not doing what you said you will do. For example, you told your parent you come to, you go to Kisii, or you go to Masinde Moriro to take a degree. You decided that, and you agreed that son, daughter, go forth, get the degree that we were not able to get, or get the degree that we were able to get. So most of your parents are very educated. Our parents were not educated. But what do you do at Masinde Moriro? Eh? What do you do? You're cohabiting in the in the 5,000 hostel room that your parents are paying for you around the university. Eh? You're a husband. And so you don't have enough time to study because now you're a husband, because you have to provide for your family. So you resort to writing more Kenya. Then obviously you pass your examination because, the university grading system is a funny thing. You can be very lucky, especially if you smile to your lecturers and they see you often. Right? And then after that, you finish your degree and voila! Your parents have what? A degree. Then you come and apply a job at where I sit. And then I'm at the job interview. And then I make your life very hard. Because you don't know anything you studied for 4 years. The only thing you can remember is the first marriage that you ended at second year. And the last marriage that you could not sustain because now help no longer comes into your pocket. I know most of you are not in that story. Some of you might not be even know whatever I'm saying. That's good. We had opportunities. When President Kibaki came into government, because of whatever they had experienced during the Nyawa system, they set up the Anti-Corruption Commission. That was the first agreement, to set up the Anti-Corruption Commission. The Anti-Corruption Commission, the Integrity Commission, was obviously it grew out because the name, the Integrity and Anti-Corruption Commission, is a version of the 2010 Constitution. But it started with the KAC in 2003, the commission that grew up now to be formed to the EACC into the 2010 Constitution. And this was to make sure there was a very important aspect of life that is called integral accountability. That our leaders were being taken accountable of their action. The Constitution also led to the Constitution 2010 also led to the implementation of the inclusion of the chapter 6. What is the chapter 6 of the Constitution say? Is it about what? Anybody? Somebody? Leadership and integrity. It's one of the shortest chapters in the Constitution, and it states about how a leader, a public officer, should be able to perform their duties in a very clear and transparent manner. From that chapter, obviously, we have the very good Leadership and Integrity Act of 2012 that the Parliament of Kenya enacted, so that now leaders can be able to be measured from a given role. But then let me ask you guys, it is around 12 years now since we did that. Cynthia, have our leaders been has that commission done a lot of good work? EACC, inaitangwa EACC, najua wengine wanashangaa the Integrity and the Corruption Commission ni gani? EACC. How much work has they been able to do? Guys, I'm asking you, wena. Or amfuatangi hizo vitu za siasa. CCC, watu wa siasa. They have done much. They have done much, but is it enough? Have they met the mandate given by the Constitution? Really? Yeah? You discover that yesterday, a few days ago, 2 days ago, the president motorcade just knocked someone and killed them, right? You saw the story. And the driver was released. Yes. Yeah? Yeah. Both the driver and the person who was carried by the driver. Or should we blame the car? No, sorry for the joke. Continue.
What I know is that it was an accident, and maybe the foreign individual, may his soul rest in peace, could have walked.
Yeah, he's 79 years.
So I'm not justifying his death, but I'm
Yeah.
saying a presidential motorcade is a presidential motorcade. It can't stop for.
Indeed, he can stop. He stops when
The
he gets to the airport.
The presidential.
Is
I'll rest my case.
No, I agree. I agree with you that obviously the
You
mistakes
can't
happen.
compromise the president's security for an individual, a foreign individual. That is what is law.
It's actually not a statutory law. It's just a respect. It is actually it is not in law.
It's a norm that.
Yeah, it's a norm.
You see, say the situation were reversed. You are a Kenyan citizen in the U.S. Would the presidential motorcade stop?
Okay, now that I'm not in the US, I will not answer that. But yes, I understand where you're coming from. But the accountability. Even a written apology is a good thing. Because an accident may happen. You see, integrity means that you absorb your problem and saying and declaring it. That it was a mistake. We were on speed. We did not see him. Okay, he is white, but sorry for the joke. But so 2024, June 2025, a number of youths were killed. Police brutality is one thing now. What has happened? Has something been done? But let me talk about the opportunities we have. And that was what I was speaking about. We have great opportunities. We have those legislation I just stated. We have improved our many other bills that would obviously bring integrity, including accountability measures like the parliament being able to check on the government, the county assembly being able to check on the governor or the executive. These are very good procedures of underlooking the process. Is it overlooking? Oversighting the process and making sure that it's working. But are they working? That's the question. Because today the question we're asking is, are they working? And then the second question you're asking today is, what is the contribution? What do we do? Because we know the problem. I've highlighted a number of issues that have happened. We have not spoken about the golden bag. We have not spoken about the chicken gate. We have not spoken about other scandals that have happened. The KEMSA, the COVID-19, and all those issues. We have not spoken about lack of funding for our military in Haiti. We have not spoken about the overfunding of the executive office of the president or the funding of the elementary education in Kenya. We have not spoken about that. Of the underpayment of the NSSF benefit to the retirees. We have not spoken about that. We have spoken just of the beginning of the big problem. But then the problem is there, so what? We cannot stay complaining in a republic. So the government, during the tenure of the former devolution minister, that is the Honorable Governor Anne Waiguru, they introduced a project called IFMIS, which is a procurement system that helps the government to do a very clear procurement system. After that, Uhuru Kenyatta introduced e-citizen. Everybody here has used e-citizen, right? Which was focused into eliminating that persons and making sure that you're getting the government services in the easy way, in the fast way. Also, the Uhuru Kenyatta government introduced the Huduma number. You remember the Huduma number? Which was to become a one-stop data center, an open data center where now all the government institutions could be able to get data from one point. It has not been fully implemented, but the current minister is also working on it and Maisha number, where they're getting that worked on. Those are opportunities we have. Very clean opportunities that we are building as a nation to make sure there's a clean system. But then we have not been able to do everything because you still question each other. We still have to use billions of money to do an election. Because when we say we do an online system, somebody believes that somebody will steal. Si ndio? Si hata hapa mutaki kufanya online voting. Mimi nataka kuona delegate akiweka kura ndani. Watatuibia usiku. Wametumwa na management. Si ndio? Anasupportiwa na senator. M-Pesa was a very came in and made our money question very easy. Si ndio? It has made it faster. And now it's being adopted across the globe. Now you can also do online money banking, which I was not in a few years ago before you were born, guys. It was not there. You just needed to carry your bundle of money. Unaenda unaweka kwa kitanda. Jioni wezi unakuja, unaanza kutoa moja kwa moja. So what is the opportunity do we? These are the opportunities we have. There are chances that have been created, and there are many opportunities that we have not invented. We've not spoken about waste management. When we introduced the bill 3 years ago with one of the programs that we ran at AYLF called SLDP, we introduced the bill in Parliament on waste management. And we said that if you're a manufacturer of any commodity, you produce, for example, these bottles. The manufacturer of this bottle is but Ketia is the one which is bottling this water in this bottle. We suggested that Ketia should be able to collect these bottles after use. Because they are the one who are manufacturing them. They should know how to throw them away. So they should come up with a mechanism of collecting them. You produce a plastic, collect it yourself. That proposition was going to increase the employment because kuna watu wangeokota hizi nini warudishie Ketia, si ndio? Wangeajiri watu wakokota ama wangeput system wanaweka correction point zenye ni mzuri, si ndio? So that we don't put them into an action. But it was shut down because people have interests. People have interests. We introduced another bill in the same year of privatization of prisons. We asked the question, now somebody amefanya mistake, si ndio? Which is normal, si ndio? You might be walking around, alafu ushautie dem a faint, ushikwe. Mlikuwa kwa nyumba wanakuambia nipige, niguza wewe ni mwanaume. Na wewe kwa sababu unasikia wewe ni mwanaume, ukamuguza. Alafu ukapelekwa pale, ukaambiwa utakaa miaka ngapi? 4. Ndivyo waache kuguza wanawake. We asked the question is it our responsibility to pay for your bills as taxpayers? Sisi kama taxpayers, is it our responsibility to pay your bills? There is no moral there. So we say that they can take care of themselves. Because when you are here outside, you can take care of yourself. Because we have teachers there, isn't it? We have doctors there. We have professionals. Actually, we have many professions who are in prison, isn't it? So we proposed to the Parliament of Kenya to start a prison service commission where now prisoners, you go, you have 1 year of rehabilitation, which we will pay as citizens. the way we pay now. But after 1 year, you get recruited at the Prison Service Commission and you start working. And from working, your salary, we cut your rent in the prison, we cut your electricity bill, we cut your water, and we cut your food. The money that remains, we bank it for you. So that when you get out of prison, after your 4 years, your 2 years, that money will help you start life. Because most of the people who get out of prison, after serving 5 years, 0 shillings, 0 nothing, and what do they think about? Is going back to the crime they know better, so that they can survive. That proposition was to make sure that we don't imprison people. We rehabilitate them. We tell them that, yes, you did a mistake, but you are not a waste. Wezi mtu mbaya. Ulifanya mistake, lakini lazima tukusaidie kuelewa venye you can handle your, maybe you have a anger issue. Ndio ulikachapa mtu. Si ndio? We help you out of your anger issue, lakini you're still serving the community and serving yourself. You're adding value to yourself. You're not losing value. That proposition was also shut down because there's a tender issue. There's an interest. Somebody anapelekanga uniform pale ya tender. Unataka kumunyima tender ya chakula wewe? So what can youth do? Because you have the technology manpower, we do. You remember we have been doing silo hits. So you remember the silo hits we have been running around? Ama mjui silo hit ni nini? Sumana tumekituma zile picha za Kasongo. Those photos are communicating something, isn't it? They are running a whole rebellion without you moving around with placards. We are acting. We mobilized people to come out of their houses for days until the president was able to bow down and say, actually, guys, aya nitawafuta kazi. Unataka nifute nani? Sindio, we did that because technology in our republic is working. Guys were able to break down the Finance Bill 2024-2025 into easy consumable thing on TikTok, on Instagram, on WhatsApp, and people could be able to understand by the, kumbe hii inamaanisha hivi. Things that you guys don't read. I know you have not read the Constitution for the last 1 year. Unless you are in school of law. Hata wa school of law anasoma kwa sababu watanguka mtihani. Si kwa sababu wanataka. The first thing we need to do is to refuse. Refuse to be corrupt. That's the first thing we need to do. Integrity will not come by magic. It won't come because you went to a conference they spoke about integrity. It won't come because you now have money or you have a degree and the people in your village don't have degrees. Integrity will come when you refuse to do the contrary. Because there is always an option. Either you take that money, you pay it. You pay the consequences. Or you don't take the money and the society runs well. Do you know how many services do we get denied in this republic because of someone holding back? Leo nikikuja huku, I took a bike from town. And I was passing somewhere, so I told my bike guy, utaningojea hapa, nifanye hivi, and off nitoke. Then akaniambia, hey, oya, wanakuja. Nikauliza, akina nani wanakuja? Wacha nikimbie, nakuja ku-explain. So he went and told me to wait there, he will come back. Then kidogo nikaona gari ya Kanjo. Kuja. And then the Kanjo man comes to where I was, at the shop I was in. Akamwambia, wewe umepanga nikae njaa? Akauliza the shop man akamwambia, mzee unajua tu nitakutengeneza vizuri. Nipatie tu wiki moja. And I was like, wait a minute, this conversation is familiar. See, conversation is familiar. How many drive here? How many drive? Oh, siko Strathmore. When the police stops there, stops you, sindio? Anakuja anajifanya anaangalia insurance. Boss, unaenda wapi? And he puts you in the corner until you yourself, you the criminal. Mkubwa, si tutaongea. You are the one who removes the money. The police never ask you for the money, si ndio? Anakuulizanga unataka tuende kwa station ama unataka kuongea. Wewe the criminal unasema, wewe mkubwa unajua naenda hospitali, mtoto ni mgonjwa, tunaweza ongea. You start making your children get sick from nowhere. Or the lecturer is working during the exam time. Yeah? And that day you woke up in the left leg. Eh? Hiyo ndio unafungua kale ka kitabu. Kale ka kitabu kakufungua na kidole moja. Eh? You put it in between the fingers. Don't ask me how I know. I also attended university, si ndio? Kana koka kamekujwa sana, si ndio? Huyu bwana anajua kutengeneza. The only reason why I did not do copy examination is because I have a very big handwriting. Nilijaribu kuandika kidogo, haikuandikika. I gave up. I decided to use my brain. So you compare which course, gentlemen? Oh, forestry si gumu. So wewe unakopi forestry, bro. Hey! Watu wengine watakosa mbinguni kwa sababu ya makosa kidogo kidogo. Yes, bro. Which course do you do? No, the one there, holding his chin. Yes, you. Next to the beautiful Muslim lady. Sorry, I don't know your name. Forgive my manners. Ni huyu jamaa anacheka hapa. Hataki kuongea ama kosi yake ni pia yenyewe ni rahisi.
I'm pursuing information technology.
Kajima ni rahisi. Kajima alifanya kama hiyo. So hiyo ni rahisi. Nani anafanya ngumu? Nani? Wewe huyu anafanya ngumu, mletee huyu. Huyu.
Yes. Bachelor of Science in Agricultural Education and Extension with Information Technology.
I thought you.
Mimi nafanyanga hunting and gathering. Hunting and gathering, bachelor.
So, guys, I'm not looking down on your courses. I did agriculture also, so I understand it's. So, sir, this is okopare. Huyu jamaa anafanya crop science. Inatoka crop design. Course ya crop design. Na kumbuki kile yenye lecturer amekuwa akisema for the whole semester. Ama wenye wanafanya physics. Mko ile hesabu inanga numbers, ina digits. Alafu umeka booklet vizuri. Then the lecturer is walking around, inakanga hivi. And then you are very uncomfortable. You are uncomfortable because you know you are sitting. Then the lecturer comes and then unasikia, ha! Some lecturers have a very good grip. Ha! Unasikia, hua. Toka nje. Then unamwambia, sir, you know, I'm the only son of my mother. She has high blood pressure. She will die if I don't finish this degree. Can we talk? You are always the first person who say, you are the criminal. You're always the criminal. Una proposing. There are many things you can do. There are many things to do with this situation. This situation is not very hard. Usiogope. And then we get to the problem. So guys, can you learn how to refuse? Do you know how to refuse? Ama mkataangi. Huyu akataangi. Mwenye mnakatanga. Amkataangi. Can we learn how to refuse? To say no? We need to learn how to say no, si ndio? Niko karibu kumaliza nisiwabo sana. Then number 2 is act on knowledge. Oh, you wanted to speak? Yes, please.
I think sometimes the shame of the shame in poverty. Poverty removes the shame in the act. So you see, when you're poor, you don't have any choices. You only have imperatives, what you must do to survive. And sometimes it is because of that they justify their ill acts. Yeah.
This guy has a very good contribution, but he is using the microphone wrongly, isn't it? But I understand.
Forgive
I heard
me.
you.
Maybe it's because I'm not used to it. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that poverty removes the shame in.
Yeah, it's working now. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Like, you just keep it close like this.
Saying that poverty removes the shame in the act. When you're poor, you don't have any choice but to do what you have to do to survive. You'll find them justifying their deeds because they say that they did it for a just cause in their view. Say maybe they had to do that, maybe to take their sister, their children, their parents to hospital, their children to school, to support their family.
Okay. Guys, let me demystify that. Just for a little. There's choice. Guys, I was born poor. Listen to me carefully. I was born what? Guys, do you know what is poverty? How many know poverty? I was born in a very dry place where you go like 40 kilometers to get to water. But that is not the problem because at least you can get it for free. Where you don't eat food, but then you have to keep smiling. Because now, who are you going to complain? Even your parents, you can see them, they are not eating. Like, you cannot complain. They woke up, they went to try, and they came back and told you guys, I tried. But venye niko, ndipo nimerudi. Now all of you you speak stories, and you go to sleep. Poverty is a bad thing. We have to agree poverty is lacking ability to do something is a bad thing. Especially to provide just the basic needs. My grandmother raised me up poor. And you see, when you are being raised by an older person, poverty hits differently. Because haezi enda kulima kwa mtu siku mzima, mgongo yake ishachoka. We would go and pick saiso. Anajua makazi ya saiso? How many have worked with saiso here? That thing is evil, isn't it? It's a spirit that you should avoid in life. You go pick saiso, come remove. You remove the outer covering, remain with the threads. Dry them, and make ropes. You do that the whole day so that at least you can say, a rope. And you guys, can you imagine that rope you get with the, unanunuliwa na mtu 3 shilling na nakwambia, yes, pita shilingi 3. And you just try to understand the work. You're going to fetch the size of maybe 5 kilometers. Ukuje utoe. Unajua kutoa yenyewe kwanza dole hizi zinakuwa red. Kwa sababu ziko na hiyo maji ya makonge inakuanga nini? Very itchy. Then ukaushe, then urudi ushone, alafu kununulia shilingi 3. 3 watu wa Mungu. No, you know, huwezi nunua tropical na shilingi 3. So you can imagine how many of them we need to do. Tunakata ka radio 1 kg of flour. Poverty is bad. But my grandmother taught me one thing. You must learn how to appreciate your situation. If you are poor, it is your season of poverty. Enjoy it. Enjoy your season of poverty. Don't start imagining that you'll be eating bread and butter when you cannot even get a slab to ugari for breakfast. Appreciate it. Because that is the only way you can get out of it. But when you keep imagining about other things, you will start becoming a thief. You start killing people. Because you want it so much, you will get it in a very... Now, funny enough, guys, I don't come from a lineage of poverty. But funny enough, my grandmother is the beginning of poverty. She got married by a guy who was not very visionary. Ladies in the house, I respect you guys, ladies. Please, hata ukimwangalia kona sura na kona tall, dark and handsome, but he is poor. Run with your both legs. Oh, yo. My grandmother made that mistake. And when my grandmother made that mistake, my mother did not have options. She made all her mistakes also. So we grew up poor. My great-grandmother had that name. So around our family, there were rich people. And when you are poor, people use you Ya maembe, wewe kuja tuchunie maembe. Nani atapeleka hii wheelbarrow kwa wewe peleka. Unatumika and you have no ability to say no because even your self esteem iko wapi? Pale chini. Wanaongea Kiingereza. Wewe ni musangalile. Vandovosi. You can't do any much. So I used to be sent, and I grew up being very obedient. I was taught that you be obedient to older people and all those things because my grandmother was very critical about values. But she told me, ukienda kwa mtu akupee chakula, usiwahi kula huko. Now you can imagine telling an hungry child, akipewa chakula mahali asikule. I wanted to tell you there is the option. And you go, na nikaambiwa mama mwingine anaweka mbuzi hapo ananiambia nichunie majani, naenda na kata majani gunia mzima na mimi nampelekea, naambia aka hapo chini nikuwekee chai. And you can smell the fragrance of food. Unajua food inakuwa very tempting. Hapo wamepika doma, unasikia doma. Unajua kunya kunanga doma. You have not even eaten doma in your house. Then there's eggs, you can feel the eggs frying. Kwenye mayai inatokanga kuku kwa shop. Kuku shop. Kwa sababu proteins are not as important as carbohydrates. And you know what, gentlemen? You went to say no. Sema, madam, asante sana, nimeshiba. Na nakuangalia hivi naona huyu mtoto kidogo hata imekauka. Yaani huyu mtoto hajakula kitu. Then to do that. Because my grandmother was feeling painful when we would go to school and our teachers, because they lived from around, they would discuss you. Kare, kajakula siku 3, kaangalie. Kaangalia klasi hivi kama kamekondoa macho, ni kama mtu ameshtuka. She didn't want us to be in that position of embarrassment. And so she had to train us to say no, even when it meant that we would die. So there is an option in poverty. There is an option. Somebody, some 2 years ago, a friend of mine who works in the force told me that they had an opportunity to employ someone. And I said that is a great thing. So I went to my village because I'm a very aspiring politician. I went to my village and looked for a vulnerable young man who had gotten their own greens. Si unajua hizo grade watu wanapatanga zao tu peke yao. Aziyosaidia society sana. Anaweza ziangaliwe vizuri. And he had very strong, very courageous, and very honest. You know, they are not lucky with the cramming and other things that you do. Isn't it? Unajua ulipata degree because you can comprehend. You can comprehend quickly and write. But some people don't comprehend quickly, but they understand. Unaelewa? So they got those poor grades kidogo, lakini they can do great works. So nikamwambia we are going to this military test. Lakini sasa tukiwa pale katikati jamaa kakimbia, hiyo na shida vizuri. Pale kwa health jamaa ameishi very healthy because I mean if you are taking 1 meal per day, why would you not be very healthy? Tukafika posho nikaambiwa sasa unajua wale wakubwa pale hawana kitu ya kukunywa. Kamuja kwani wanakunywanga nini? Kwa 500. Okay? Iko sawa. Obviously they stupid you utatoa 300 upatiane, si ndio? Lakini all of us Kenyans understand the language. Nikamwambia sasa 300 saa hii nitatoa wapi 300? Nasema unaona hata ule pale ule ni wa ule mzee, na ule mzee amewekea boss mafuta ya 500. Ambia hata bei inapanda jioni. Unaona giza kianza kuingia inapanda. I was like, wait a minute. So I'll give 1 billion shillings or 300 shillings or 500 shillings. Na huyu jamaa akipata kazi, by the time afikishe 500 shillings ni miaka 2. Atajisaidia lini? Nikamwambia jamaa tuende nyumbani. Tutafanya hii kazi. Naenda nitafute kazi nyingine na kazi. And I looked for him, I got him a job. It was not lucrative, it was not military, ana uniform, lakini anajirisha na ana stress, si ndio? And it is honest. So you can say no. Guys say, learn to say what? And it starts from here. Even GBV, which is lack of integrity. You guys are beating your girlfriends and girlfriends beating your boyfriends. Kwanza unajua nasikianga hapa Western, wanawake wa Western si mchezo, ni ukweli? Bro.
Siko sure.
Wewe si wa Western?
Mimi si wa Western.
Nani wa Western? Nani wa Western? Hebu tuambie ukweli. The second thing, ni ukweli?
Hapana.
Oh. Hey, at least that one is good. Walikuwa wanawaripia sifa. Ladies from Western walikuwa wanaribiwa sifa. Na unajua wanaume wa Nyeri walikuwa wameanza kuogopa. Wanasema you might do something. The second thing is act on knowledge. Guys, knowing is not enough. Just knowing is not enough. And like our first speaker was speaking about farming, I'm very passionate about farming. I'm passionate about production. I specialize in production policy. And I love it. Because it's the only thing that is easy for us to do as a republic. Tunaweza fanya bila kushindwa. Kwa sababu vitu zingine kama kufanya Eastlands iwe London, hiyo ukweli tumeshindwa. Hiyo tutawezana, si ndio? Lakini kulima tunaweza kuzena kulima zote, si ndio? Kulima zote, si ndio? Knowing alone is not important. And the same thing happens to your degree. Having a degree, going to education and education, through an education system alone is not important. Some of you cannot even converse with 5 people in a meeting. I take you to State House, or I take you to the national prayer breakfast that we host in May, and some of you cannot converse with 5 delegates, international delegates, and tell them something about themselves. Some of you cannot even do. Josie, during the Conitas retreat, I was telling them that you need to learn how to introduce yourself powerfully in 15 seconds. And make sure that nobody forgets you, ever, in your life. But some of you cannot do it because you have nothing. The only thing you can do is tell people is that, I pursued a degree in agricultural extension and education. I did fisheries management and forestry conservation. Tukuruza, how many trees have you planted? Oh, the government is not providing funds for youth empowerment, so we cannot plant trees. Unasema, I did a degree in education arts. I did a degree in education science. Unauliza, what have you improved about education? Those are things Berio Kipsang should be thinking about, and Inyangara, it is not my work. The Presidential Working Party did not choose me in that party. Sindio, our MP eats the CDVF money, so we cannot help people in education. When I finished Form 4, I used to teach children in my village. I would collect all children in my village and teach them at our village, at the village house. Naambia, nani ajui hesabu hapa, tutasoma hesabu leo. Kesho tutasoma Kiswahili. And I got a job for free. They employed me. The schools around were running to employ me. They were like, this young man is ingenious. And definitely I'm ingenious. Look at me. So we need to know. We need to fact check. For example, when you hear a policy like whatever the president said that it is free to get ideas. Sindio? Aye. Kwani news inafikanga huku kesho? Amuko siya president akisema hiyo? Si alisema jana. Ni jana ama ni juzi? Alisema juzi that ideas are free. And what is our problem? Biggest problem is that the youth don't do what? Youth don't do what? They don't vote. The youth don't do what? Why? They don't even have ideas. You guys, why have you not started a campaign to have every young person here in Masinde, huku kunaitanga wapi, Kakamega, to get an ID? But you know that information. How useless is that information? In your mind? Si uliona kwa guys, kwa mnaanza kunyamaza kwa TikTok ama kwa Snapchat. Si mliona? So how is it helping the nation? How is it helping the nation? You know. So knowing alone is not important. It's knowing and acting on the knowledge. It's acting on the. Number 3, we have to review the policies. We have to review the policies. When you say that the Public Officers Act of 2012 says that a member of parliament cannot be gifted a cow and he keeps it in his house. He gets gifted a cow, he has to declare it as an asset of the republic because he is a public officer. We need to hold them accountable. When the president comes here and he is given what? President alipewa kitu huku. Alikuja huku ni Viga ama ni wapi alipewa kitu. Alipewa kuku. Na akaenda kukula State House. That was criminal. Is a ground of him being fired. We need to speak about it. We need to ask about it, ask questions about it. And stop being a complainer. We have to review the policies and make sure that it's understandable by everyone. You see, you guys have a very good luck. Kuna ule jamaa analala akiwa ameshikilia kichwa. Mwamushe. Wewe ungekuwa high school ulikuwa unalala vizuri. Huyu ni kama alikuwa master pale high school. Guys, maliza msiogope, siwezi wabo sana. So in 2019, the President Uhuru Kenyatta convened us as young people to work on the anti-corruption campaign at Bomas of Kenya for 5 days. It included the president, international ambassadors and dignitaries, and we are speaking about the corruption and how can it be acted upon by people. During that session, where I was part of it, we acted on good policies, guys. Yani brilliance of thoughts. Good thoughts. 2019 to today, I think it's there 7 years. Isn't it? 5 to 6 years, eh? And nothing has been done. Because we are just thinking. We have to stop thinking and act. You have to give your actions thoughts. Your thoughts actions a chance to act. To be implemented. So that at least tusemange, hii ni mbaya kwa sababu haikuwezana hivi. Hii ni mbaya or we can improve it from this point of view. Give your thoughts a chance. They say a good idea is not good enough. It's not been tested in a marketplace. You yourself, you're not good enough to the republic if you never worked anywhere. If you're not paying taxes, you're not good to the Republic of Kenya. We want you to pay taxes, and you can pay taxes if you're working, or producing, or manufacturing. We need to do something about it. You have to do something about it. You know, society has a way of punishing people. When you're between 10 and 20, when you have started discovering yourself, when girls start feeling that they are female and men start feeling they are male, society is very keen. Unaangalia we. Then 20 to 30 wanaanza kuambia guy, kwani ujaribingi? Si uongeleshe huyo msichana. Enda umsaidie kuchota maji. Enda kwa hata umuongeleshe. Na wewe hiyo time ndio unatafuta pesa, hutaki kuongea. Unaona kama pesa yako itakuliwa yote. Then unafikisha 30 to 40, unaweza kusema, hey, wewe ni kama tulikupoteza. Huyo kijana anaka mwelekeo hajawana. Imagine yako 35 na hajawana. It punishes you. The same way, things that you don't do punishes you. You have beautiful ideas. You write them down sometimes. Sometimes you don't write them down. Kidogo kidogo unaona mtu mwingine anaifanya. Unapitia hapo unasema nitaanza fruit ama nianze kutengeneza fruit pudding hapa most. Watu wakulangi wanapenda fruit lakini hakuna mtu anatengenezanga. Unasema lakini sina pesa. Hiyo help yangu nitanunua dresses za kwenda prom. Nyinyi mnakuwa na prom night? Wacha. Mnanga prom? Ama mjui ni nini hiyo? Mnakuwa na prom? Si freshers night. Mnakuwa na prom? Rini? Jana mlikuwa na prom? Ai guys, sijaona photos. Kwani nyinyi wengine hamkuwa, wewe ukuwa niko na namba yako. Sikuona ukipost. Nani mwingine wa huku? Isa kwani huku post prom night? Hata yeye anashangaa ilikuwa wapi? Your ideas will start punishing you. So umesema start with your proving 2 weeks to 3 weeks. Ukipitia unaona unakuta hapa tu hapa karibu na administration block. Jamaa amesimamisha study ya fruit pudding. Unashangaa huyu alijua aje idea yangu. Aliibia ama anajua dean of student alipatiwa clearance na enterprise. Inaitwa department for enterprise ama nini? Na maintenance. Ama mna department kama hiyo? Iko an act. Even where I come from, in my community we say, when you see a beautiful girl, when you see a beautiful, and you do nothing, and you can only be invited to the what do you call it when a baby is born and the people go to see the baby? Eh? Baby oh, baby shower siku hizi lakini that is for baby before the baby is born, after the baby naming ceremony, ama whatever the name is you call it, they say that you will just be going to the naming ceremony of our children if you don't. That's how. So that beautiful idea you have in your mind, you will just be seeing other people in good cars, big cars,